Welcome back to No Ordinary Path, Real Talk Tuesday. Today, it's another travel nurse takeover, and I'm going to tell you about my experience traveling at Banner Del Webb Hospital in Phoenix, Arizona. Like many cities, if you are a travel health professional, you know that a lot of major cities have health systems that have sort of a monopoly on the hospitals in the general area. In Phoenix, Arizona, it's Banner. In terms of hospitals alone, you've got Del Webb, Boswell, Thunderbird, Estrella, University, Hart, Gateway, Ironwood, Goldfield, and Desert. No shortage on awesome name selections. They do a good job of naming their hospitals. I traveled to Del Webb, and let's talk a little bit about it. First, the map. If we zoom in here, you'll see what looks like a Jackson Pollock painting. See all these streets and everything and all the 40 golf courses around there? What you're looking at is considered Sun City. Sun City is a gigantic retirement community, and it's pretty fun to work here. Del Webb Hospital is smack dab right in the middle of all of it. So you can imagine what the large majority of your clientele is like. This is a geriatric hospital. That's not to say they don't have LDRP, they have a NICU here, see some pediatrics, but your primary clients, your primary patients that you'll be taking care of are geriatric patients. Del Webb is a 404-bed hospital. It is beginning to expand as Sun City continues to grow. The hospital is growing with it, so it's looking to expand to 500 beds in the near future. It is very large PCU hospital. They do a lot of cardiac catheterization stuff here, valve replacements. The emergency department here is fairly large. There's 3 separate units within that emergency department, and it is always hopping. They do have a Native Air, which is one of the big local helicopter transport companies based at the facility. So if they do have any significant traumas, or if they do have, somebody that needs open heart surgery emergently or something like that, they can ship them to, say, University, which is their big level 1 teaching hospital within this metro. They still have some semi-private rooms. That's 2 patients to 1 room with the privacy curtain in the middle. I'm an ICU nurse, so let's talk about the ICU. Banner Del Webb ICU is a 28-bed unit split between 2 floors. One is not higher designation than the other. They all take the same amount of patients, the same scramble of patients. It's just split between 2 floors. It's what I call a generic ICU, or an all-encompassing general ICU, meaning that they don't subspecialize. There's not a cardiac or a neuro or trauma, surgical. It's just a take-all. And you're going to find all different sorts of patients here. What you're not going to see are open hearts, open neuro cases. You may occasionally see a ventric or an LP drain. Honestly, it's still a fairly high acuity unit. I was satisfied there in terms of critical care, definitely. They see a good amount of patients. They have what's called high and low acuity. What that means is they do have intensivists in this ICU, but the intensivists don't manage everybody. They work together with hospitalist teams that come around and see the low acuity patients. If you're a night shift worker, you're going to see an EICU type at night. I wanted to break this down in terms of my review as what I call the good, the meh, and the The good. Here's what I really liked about this hospital. Wow, they are super traveler oriented, only in the winter time. They are very traveler friendly. They hire in between 6 to 12 different travel nurses for the winter time. I love the way that this unit is set up. Probably in all the places I have ever worked in terms of setting a unit up, I love it. It looks like this. It's basically a circle within a circle. So you've got your central nurses station right here in the middle, and then the patient rooms surround it. So, oh my gosh, it's so easy to see everybody and everything, and you could tell when somebody needs help over here, and you just see everything in terms of falls. Those kind of mitigating those risks is so much easier when you've got what I call a unit in the round. As always, I love the people. In terms of the management and the people at this hospital, if it was not in the desert, and no offense to the desert, I would work at this hospital if it was up in the mountains. These people were fantastic. And in terms of travel friendly, the management here, tops. Seasonal options. If you're looking for a travel position that's a little different, they do have some things. If you come here, you check it out, and you say, I really do like it. There's a couple seasonal positions, which you come and work for them for 6 months, and then you're off for 6 months, but you still get paid that whole time, even though you're off. You just got to come back for your 6 months on the other end. So that's kind of cool. All right, the meh. Even though they're super travel friendly, and I really did like working here, they do have some policies in place that sort of make you feel like the traveler. When you come to work, you're going to be the first to float, always. There is not a rotating float list. Most hospitals that I've worked at, even as a travel, the core staff still floats along with you. Here, nope. If you're a traveler, you're floating, always. First to go. If they don't need you, you're floated. You're also the first to take tele assignments. If they have tele holds, regardless, you take them. Sometimes they will even take your old patients, if they're still ICU, and make you take the tele assignments because you're the traveler, so you don't have that continuity. Not everybody did that. That didn't happen to me very often, but it does happen occasionally. You're also the first to get what I call pushed back. When they call you in the morning and say, hey, John, we don't need you until 9 o'clock, 11 o'clock, whenever. Last thing, the intensivist versus hospitalist thing. I am not a huge fan of having the mix. I like the hospitals that have the ICU patients. If you're in the ICU, then you're managed by an ICU doctor, an intensivist, versus having some patients seeing this hospitalist and some patients seeing this hospitalist. All right, Okay, Banner's, being real here, Banner's cancellation policy is tough. And this is across the board. If you're going to travel to Phoenix, you're likely going to run into a Banner hospital cancellation policy. I understand it's system-wide. Basically what it is Banner writes in their contract that they have the ability to cancel you one shift per week. And I just, being honest, I was a little concerned about this initially. Voiced that concern to my recruiter. We talked about it. In the long run, this is where I wanted to be, and so I was really willing to take the risk. It did come back to bite me a little. Wasn't terrible, but I had, I want to say, like 6 shifts canceled in this contract, which, as a traveler, you don't have PTO or anything like that for the most part. So it does kind of hurt you in the wallet department. You know what? If you're going to be a traveler, my philosophy is expect to float, you guys. I mean, it is part of the job. But at this hospital, you float everywhere. It's not going to be some tele assignment with just 3 patients. You're going to float there. You're going to have 4 patients. You're going to float to med-surg. You may have 4 patients. You're going to float to OBS. You may have 5 patients. Expect it. Be ready for it. Tips. Here's the tips. First of all, with the cancellation policy, because I know that's what you guys are going to be worried about. That's what I was worried about. Here's one way to mitigate it. I started this contract in November. The majority of their travelers are hired like in middle December or early January. That's when I would start. The census is higher. You don't get canceled as often. If you're able to start later, do it. Start later. Be flexible. Be flexible. You're going to have to float. You're really going to have to float. You're going to take the tele assignments. Know all that stuff going in, and it will be easier. Show them that you can handle yourself. The more you show them that you can handle yourself and help out everybody else with their patients, you'll start getting the sick sepsis. You'll start getting that kind of stuff. By the end of the contract, guys, I'm not going to say, but I was taking high acuity patients by the end of this contract without any issue. Would I go back there? That's what it all comes down to, right? Would you go back there? Would I go back there? I would go back. I would go back to Banner. I would go back later, so the risk of getting canceled wasn't as bad. And I tell you what, Del Webb was a fun place to work. I enjoyed going to work there. For all of you at Banner that may be watching this, thank you. I really enjoyed my time there. For those of you that are watching for the review, best of luck. I hope this is helpful for you. If you have questions about travel nursing or anything like that, leave comments below. I would love for you to be a part of this journey with us. So subscribe, and thank you. We'll catch you later.